Now we have a final speaker who will appeal to the generosity of this wonderful crowd and share how you can make a difference. Mr. Henry Worden knows firsthand just how special it is to be part of scouting community and tradition. Mr. Worden is the seventh of 8 grandsons to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout. All 3 of his sons also earned their Eagle badges with Troop 305, where he served as assistant scout leader for several years. He is dedicated to developing leadership skills in our youth and actively involved in supporting and promoting scouting values. Please welcome Mr. Hank Worden.
Thank you. Dan, congratulations. Awesome. So, I mean, this morning, I'm just so proud to be here and was asked to come up and talk to you folks. My memories the last couple of weeks have been unbelievable. So what I want you to think about is scouting in our community as a 3-legged stool. And so the first leg of your stool is adventurous kids that want to learn skills and belong to a group that accepts all. Part of that leg also is the active engagement of parents. Now, the kids are always going to be out there for us to get to belong to the troop. But sometimes the parents, it's not quite as easy. I mean, it could be a single parent. It could be, work schedules. There's all sorts of things that can happen with parents not being able to be involved. So the second leg of the stool is your scout leaders. And that starts with the national to your local, your district, and then your local folks. And Brett, welcome, thank you. First time I've met Brett was now, because my boys, the last time I was involved was probably 2018 or 19. I think 19 probably, because I've got or maybe 20. My wife's telling me. Anyway, it's been a little while since I've been involved, and one of the mentions this morning by Kevin Smith was, yeah, you can still fit in that shirt. I said, well, it's like trying to put on your tux, 20 years later after you've been your wedding tux. Anyway, I did fit in the shirt, but I didn't fit in the pants. So anyway, I did grow somewhere. But anyway, the second leg is those scout leaders. And I just can't say enough about the local leadership here. I grew up in Missoula, Montana. And I went through a troop that, yes, I got my leaders, my Eagle Scout with a few of my friends, like Eric was mentioning, that helped me get through. But my experience was not anything like Troop 305. So this troop is just unbelievable in this community, to be honest with you. It just blows me away. So the granddaddy of it is Al Sutlick. Where are you, Al? Back there. I mean, unbelievable what Al's done over the years and continues to do. And then behind the scenes, you have Mrs. Livingston. She was always involved when I was involved, and I don't know where she is now, but she was always kind of behind the scenes. And then the Scoutmasters, Mr. Seymour, Mrs. Reeser, and Mr. Holopeter. Unbelievable what they give in the second leg of what it takes to make this thing so. And then the active parents, and some of us became assistant scoutmasters. Best time of my life. Let me just tell you a few memories about being an assistant scoutmaster. Like when I was with Mr. Anhorn, and we Mr. Neely might have been with us, Mr. Albier, you might have been with us. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of us parents, and we went up to the, right by the watershed, by the Blue Mountains, and it was like raining. Walking in, it was raining. When we walked out 2 days later, it was raining. And so we're in our tent, and this river's just flowing through. I mean, you couldn't get dry anywhere up on the watershed. And there was one kid, or there's 2 of them, I think, that just, their packs were against the tree. They just left them there. Rain. They kept the fire going all night long. They just stayed up the whole time. So when we went to leave, the packs were too heavy to carry because they got soaked with water. So of course, us leaders are hauling them out, trying to get them out. But that was an awesome experience. The mini Pinewood Derbies that I had with my boys, unfortunately, my oldest boy, which could be part of the parenting thing is, we'd leave Pinewood Derbies with him crying, because of course, I didn't know how to build the car to beat, my friends that were maybe a couple kids ahead of me on building. My third child, though, Frankie, he was first and second, but he was kind of afraid to tell his brother that he got first or second, because he didn't know what would happen in repercussions. And then the great thing about Pinewood Derby, I did have one boy that was a friend of the family, played basketball with all my boys, and he knew that we took first or second, so he wouldn't let his dad help him build the car. He wanted to come to my shop and build it with me, so my experience was just awesome with that. The Christmas tree pickup, Al, thank you. In many cases, the trees were bigger than the scouts, so we spent many, many weekends picking up Christmas trees the second weekend in January. The summer camp with all three of my boys was unbelievable. I mean, many, many summer camps. One of the memories that I'll tell a tale on, Mr. and Mrs. Neely's son, Dawson, we're at a camp, and I'm walking by and I see Dawson in there, and he's got a whole table of candy bars and candy. For somehow he got and found out where he could buy this candy. So I take a picture of Dawson, it's like his first summer camp, send it to his mother and said, he's having a great weekend, right? So he's having a great week, he's getting started great. And then another one where we really did as a troop and as leaders and everybody kind of came together, including the scouts, was a camp out at Tollgate at one of the winter competitions up there, and one scout showed up with tennis shoes, no coat. I don't even know how he got in a car and we got him up there, and it's like, no sleeping bag. He had nothing with him, and so we all kind of grouped together and we figured it out. Al might even be up there at that time, I can't remember, but we figured out how to get the boy kind of have a great weekend, and I'm sure to this day it's one of his best memories. So those are just awesome times that I had. Help offer, some support and some adult leadership to some kids that maybe aren't as fortunate as my kids, or, as Eric's kids. So it's kind of what it's all about. So that's a two-legged stool. What happens if you have a two-legged stool? It falls over, right? So the third leg is the reason you're here this morning. And many of you were in scouting and had the opportunity to achieve Eagle Scout, maybe Star Scout, maybe Life Scout, but if you look at the levels of donations this morning, only this morning you have the opportunity to all become Eagle Scouts, okay? So if you looked at the level of donations, a Star Scout would be $500, a Life Scout's about $750, and an Eagle's $1,000. And I talked to my wife, and she allowed me to be an Eagle again. So I am challenging the room to be generous with your donations, because this thing doesn't go around without the third leg. So thank you for your time and your generosity.